Hey guys, we are back with some more of Wolfsburg World's franchise mode, and this one, we are in free agency, but we're really not doing much, as we have a couple of big contracts coming up next season that need to be taken care of. But that being said, we do need a backup goaltender, as we currently only have Kalle Rodin. So, we're going to be going after this guy, Louis Climie, 81 overall. Could be a starter potential goaltender, 26 years of age. He's a good age. He had a really good save percentage last year in 23 games, .947. So that, I don't know why I just backed, I guess, button leg. But still, that's really impressive. So we are going to be going after him as our backup goaltender as a continued vamp until we get to the contract screen. There we go. And 2.8, I'll go for Climie. He was pretty impressive this past year. And that's the only free agent that we're going after. Because there's really not much of a reason to go after anybody else. I mean, we have a really good team. We really do. We just, the EA simulation just has not, I don't think has treated us well over the past couple of seasons when we've been ousted in the playoffs. But the main reason why I'm not going after any real free agents is because Homer, Kuleshov, and Niederberger. Their contracts are all coming up next season. Homer wants 9.6 for 7 years. Kuleshov wants 9.6 for 5 years. And Niederberger wants 5 years, 9.3. So for me, I'd rather spend that money on players that we know work for this team rather than signing a player out of free agency who might not work out. So we're going to extend Maddox Homer for 5 years, because this extension will start when he's 28. It'll take him to he's 33. That sounds good for Homer. And we'll try to get him at 9.8 for 5 years. And we'll do the same thing for Kuleshov. This guy has been with us literally since day number one of this franchise. He was the first, I think he was our first player. Well, okay, maybe not the first player, because the expansion draft was before the entry draft in year number 0, as I like to call it. But he was our first drafted player, and he is not going anywhere. So 5 years for him sounds good. He's 28 right now. This contract will take effect when he's 29. That'll take him till he's 34. That sounds good to me for Kuleshov. It'll put him and Homer on the same length, and we'll give him the same thing as Homer, honestly. 9.8, 5 years. Sounds good to me. Now, I don't want to extend Niederberger as of yet. I still want to see how he grows, because 9.3 seems a little much, but he is at medium elite. It's a different story, though, with Kuleshov and Homer, so that's why we offered them, and I believe that's it in terms of contract worries. So, hopefully, Homer and Kuleshov sign, and obviously we'll probably get the goaltender. But if they don't sign, we're going to continue negotiating with them, because they're both cornerstones of this franchise, and we really cannot afford to lose either of them. So let's simulate ahead a few days. Note, not trading my first. Well, that was actually New Jersey's first. So there's Climie, there's Stahlberg, and nope. So Kuleshov rejected, Homer rejected. Okay. So we're going to continue to negotiate with them. Obviously, because we really don't want to get rid of them. Actually, let me just make sure that we have all of our scouts in place, as we don't currently. So we have 2 Scandinavia, 2 European. I would like 1 more European scout, at least. So we need 1 more Europe scout, and we need 1 more Russia scout. So I'm going to go out and do that now. Alright, so we have gone after the scouts at this point. Now we just need to continue negotiating with Homer and Kuleshov. So we have 11.5 in cap space remaining for this year. So we do have to be careful about what we do. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be that much of a difference with Kuleshov and Homer, considering they're already making a decent amount of money. But we do have to be mindful, mainly because of the contract of Sebastian Niederberger, who appears to want a lot starting next season. So let's see. Homer, he wants 6 years. I really only want to give him 5 years, so I'll give him. I'll go 10 mil for Homer. He's been clutch. he's worth it. He is probably the most clutch player on this team. 10 mil for 5 years for Homer is not the end of the world. So offer extension, and we'll see what happens with that. Kuleshov, he still wants 5 years, so I'll give him, we'll go with the same length and amount of money for Kuleshov as Homer. He's basically just as important on the back end. So offer contract extension to Kuleshov, and let's hope that they both accept those offers. If not, then talks are obviously not really going to slow down because, once again, they're both very important parts of this team, but I really would prefer to get them as cheap as possible. And Kuleshov accepted, and Homer rejected. Okay, so we got Kuleshov. Kuleshov is only making 2 mil more than he is right now, and he's worth it. He had a down year last year in terms of points, but he's usually around the 50 to 60 point mark, so as long as he doesn't regress too hard, that should be a fine contract for him. Now, Maddox Homer. Okay, so we're agreeing on 5 years now, so that's good. That's progress. Before, he wanted 7, and then before that, he wanted 6. Now he's down to 5, so that's good in our favor. If we could take him to 10.1 for 5 years, I think that would do it. Now, he's obviously making a lot more money with this contract than he is his current contract, but once again, he is worth every single penny because he has been the most clutch player on this team, without a doubt. And Maddox Homer has accepted. So there we go. Homer and Kuleshov officially re-signed with your Wolfsburg Wolves for another 5 years after this year. So good to have both of them back. And now we really just have to worry about the contract of mainly of Sebastian Niederberger. He's going to want a lot. As we saw earlier, he wants, 9 points. I'm not sure who we're going to have to cut. It's probably going to be along the lines of Miller, maybe Stahlberg, Staples. Yeah, we're going to have to cut quite a few names, but no one who's a key player, I wouldn't say. I think we'll be able to keep our core intact. It's just, we're going to have to give up a little bit of depth. Maybe Provorov gets traded at most in terms of key players, but other than that, I really don't see too much of a change coming, so that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. I'm not going to extend anybody else now. We'll see what happens over the offseason, and if, Sebastian Niederberger is actually going to be worth that $9.5 million plus in the coming years, then, we'll extend him then, once we see that. But for right now, that is all that we're doing in this free agency period, and we will advance to the start of the preseason. At the start of the preseason here, let's check out the growth. Rodin, 87. Climby, 82. Pretty good. Defenseman, Kuleshov stayed at 89. Like that. Lindholm, 88. Jones, 87. Provorov, 86. Staples, 82. Kondratek and Bohinski, 81. So Bohinski, I believe, went down a little bit. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But he's still a consistent 30-point guy. Aho, 90. Homer, 89. Weiss, Mayer, 87. 86 for Niederberger. So Niederberger grew by 2. So he's starting to get up there in overall. Looks like he'll be on the second line this year. Point, 85. Zanetti, 83. Jost, 82. Albrecht, 82. So I'm glad that we stuck with him, developing him, and he's now looks like he's going to be a third-line center, for sure. Goddard, third-line left winger. Stahlberg's an 82. Miller, 81. Carlson, 79. Okay, so there's the NHL. Let's see, in the system, Sean Beck is an 80 now. I would say we'll bring him up. Yeah, we'll send Carlson down, because he doesn't seem to be growing, and we'll bring up Sean Beck. Now, Alvin Hensick is at a 79 overall. He's very close. We'll keep him in the AHL for right now, but he looks like he's ready for that breakthrough, and you guys know the history of Hensick's on this channel. It's just kind of, obligatory that we give him a chance at some point, and maybe with Stahlberg on the way out potentially next year with that Niederberger contract, he might get his chance as early as next year. So, Or maybe even at some point this season. Who knows? Depending on what happens. The goaltenders, let's see, in the minors, Knight, Denis Papin. Defensively, our defensive prospects aren't that great. Akim Wolf, Vic Heward, he's 21 years of age. Ferrero, 21. Yara's 22. So all those guys it looks like they've capped off, kind of. And as far as forwards go in the minors, Hatzek, Carlson, McLeod. Rob McLeod's at 76 now, so he's taking his time. Might be someone we consider trading, especially if he doesn't grow this year. Grief, Tatacek, and DeMarchi. So yeah, we definitely want to fill out the minor league squad a little bit. But other than that, looks like everything is all good. Alright, so here are all the lines. First line, Mayer, Aho, Homer, not any different than last year. Second line, Niederberger, Weiss, and Point. Third line, Goddard, Albrecht, and Zanetti. And the fourth line, Miller, Jost, and Stahlberg. Defensively, Kuleshov and Jones, Provorov and Bohinski, and Lindholm with Kondratek. Power play, Mayer, Aho, Homer. I'm going to try Aho and Homer on the power play again. We'll see what happens. If it even struggles a little bit, we're going to change things around, because history shows that this power play unit, when together, generally doesn't work. But I really want to try it again, just to see what happens. Who knows? It might work. It might not. If it doesn't, that's fine. We have other options. Second line power play, Niederberger, Point, Zanetti, Bohinski, and Lindholm. Now, as for Cam Weiss, why he is not on here, I've been talking about not overloading all of our top players with all the ice time in the world, and I think part of that was finding a balance for someone like Cam Weiss, who, he is clearly capable of scoring points. 55 points last year, 72 the year before that he joined us, but I think I see him as more of a defensive type forward, sort of like a Jordan Stahl type center who just shuts it down nonstop. He's great at faceoffs, great with hitting, a phenomenal takeaway to giveaway ratio. So I figure it's better to let him just focus on the penalty kill, and that's exactly where he is. So that leaves Aho and Homer with the power play and all the offensive stuff. And the four-man power play, Aho and Mayer, Kuleshov and Jones, and then Point and Homer with Lindholm and Bohinski. Penalty kill, Weiss and Niederberger. Niederberger on the penalty kill this year, because I like what he did defensively last year. Decent ratio, good amount of hits, and he's getting that big boy paycheck this year, more than likely. So we're going to see what he can do defensively, sort of earn a little bit more of that money. Provorov and Kondratek are also on the first line penalty kill. And then Jost with Mayer and Lindholm and Jones on that second line penalty kill as well. Three-man penalty kill, basically the same. Weiss, Provorov, Kondratek, Jost, Lindholm, and Jones. And then 4-on-4, Aho, Mayer, Kuleshov, and Jones. Point, Homer, Provorov, and Bohinski. Weiss and Niederberger with Lindholm and Kondratek. And then 3-on-3, Aho, Mayer, Kuleshov. Point, Homer, Lindholm, Weiss, Niederberger, and Jones. Extra attackers, Aho and Weiss. Shootout, Homer, Mayer, Kuleshov, Albrecht, and Aho. Goaltenders, Rodin and Klime. And scratch currently are Sean Beck and Carl Staples. So there you go. There's the start of your year number 11. Wolfsburg Wolves. And let's make sure that the captains and jerseys are all set. So Sean Beck is number 53. Jost 17. Just looking for new numbers. That should be it. Klime number 1. There we go. And before we start the season, of course, we're going to make sure that all of our scouts are sent out to different places. It looks like not. Kruger and Lumala. So, Liga, SHL, which one's better in Liga? A+. And everything else looks good. Let's just make sure. So, Russia, Liga, SHL, Extra Liga, NLA, DEL, US East, Central, West, QO, Dub, Atlantic, North, Central Pacific, Atlantic, Metro, Central Pacific. Alright, we're all good. And we went a perfect 7-0 in the preseason. Not really surprised, to be honest. This team is pretty good. Especially against, AHL level teams. So 15 points for Yorgaho, Airpunktet. Not even too excited about that, just because, preseason. So now what we're going to do, we are going to be signing some prospects, and that's going to start with our recent draft pick, Mr. Matt Ho. Offensive defenseman, 74 overall. So let's sign him. Let's get him on the AHL team right away, as we do need some help with defense down here. Forward-wise, there's Conacher, there's Antropov. So it does say that he's a minor fourth-line forward, so Lance Conacher, welcome to Wolfsburg. Antropov, welcome to Wolfsburg as well. Zubov, welcome to Wolfsburg. Yeah, sure, why not? We'll sign Davidson as well, and we may as well sign Blomqvist. We had, once again, like 5 players who actually are part of our organization in terms of forwards down there in the AHL, so sign all of them. So it turns out that we can't even have our prospect defenseman Matt Ho here yet, unless he's on our NHL roster. Is he on our NHL roster by chance? He might be. He's a 74 overall. No, I don't see him. Yeah, he must have, he must have been, the only thing I could think of is that he must have been in the CHL, and I didn't realize. So here are the updated lines for your AHL squad. Hansik, McLeod, Carlson, Tatacek, Grief, Bowie. Bowie's not a prospect, and neither is Grief really, but he's German, so we're keeping him on the team. Zuri, Zubov, Conacher, Davidson, all these guys are prospects. Blomqvist, Antropov, DeMarchi. And in terms of defensemen, I don't think it changed, but, looking a lot younger here, and Peyton Knight and Denis Papin in net. And now that we don't have to switch back and forth between, between Thatcher Demko and Kalle Rodin, now we can finally turn automated goalie rotations back on. It's about time. It's been too long, old friend. So let's do a month of simulating now, and then we'll check out the stats and end things off. Okay, so I'm jumping in mid-simulation here. We have gone 0-4 to start the regular season. Come on, boys. I mean, we have a bunch of clutch players. Get the clutch goals there. Overtime loss to Anaheim 5-4. Overtime loss to Columbus 3-2. Shootout loss to St. Louis 5-4. And a 5-4 shootout loss to Nashville. What is going on here, boys? Come on. Start, get some wins. I mean, the shootout and overtime losses aren't the worst thing in the world, but, I would like to see something other than 0 in that first column there. Alright, so we finished the month 3-1-5. This is the most overtime games I've ever seen in 1 month, man. At least in terms of October, because it starts on October 14th, and we had, 6-7 overtime games here? 5-4 overtime loss, shootout loss, 2-1 regulation loss, 4-2 win against Ottawa, overtime loss, overtime win, and then a 4-2 win. So we had 6 overtime games in October. And that's not even including the preseason. We had another, what was that? That's 2 shootouts in the preseason, but right before the start of the regular season. So in total, in October, we had 8 overtime games. So let's check out the stats. Sebastian Niederberger leading the team in points so far with 6 goals and 7 points. Let's see everybody else. Yorgaho was 7, Mayer was 6, Weiss was 6, Kuleshov was 6, so he's on a good pace so far. Jones was 6, Jost with 5, Homer with 5, Zanetti with 5, Point with 4, Goddard with 3, Stahlberg with 3, Miller with 3, Lindholm with 2, Kondratek with 1, Bohinski with 1, Albrecht with 1, Staples hasn't played, Beck hasn't played, Provorov with nothing. So the only person without a point so far is Provorov, at least in terms of guys who have played. And then, I don't know. I mean, we look like we're scoring at a good rate. We have a bunch of guys who are getting the points. And the only thing I can think of is that it's the defense that's not really up to par right now, because we're scoring at a pretty decent rate, I would say. At least enough to be winning more than 3 games. So let's see. Goaltenders, Kalle Rodin's been doing fine. 920 save percentage in 6 games that he's played. Klime has lost all 3 of his games in overtime. That is unfortunate. 873 save percentage so far. That's not the Klimi we saw, at least in terms of his previous season. Obviously, we didn't have him on our team last season, but he did post a 947 save percentage in 23 games. So, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because of that. But not off to a great start so far is Klimi. But Rodin's done just fine, as expected. So, and he's only letting 13 goals in 6 games. So it's mostly Klimi, actually, who's letting the majority of the goal, like half of our goals so far this year. And he's played half as many games as Rodin. So, yeah, Rodin's doing fine. It's just Klimi needs to pick it up. And what about defensively? Come on, defenseman. Input lag. Kuleshov and Jones, they've been doing fine point-wise. Lindholm, Kondratek, Bohinski, Provorov. Plus minus, I mean, there's not really too much to look at plus minus wise, especially 9 games in. Let's see the takeaway to giveaway ratio. So Lindholm and Jones are actually very good right now in terms of their takeaways to giveaways. Bohinski, not bad. Provorov, Kuleshov, Kondratek could be doing better. Let's see forwards. I'll also check face-offs for forwards. So, face-off percentages, Jost, Weiss, Point, and Aho, they're all doing well. Albrecht, well, Point's on the wing. Albrecht is at a 47.3 currently. Hopefully he can work on that. I'll give him the confidence to stay at center. Hit-wise, a lot of guys over a hit per game so far. Takeaways to giveaways, so obviously takeaway master top Mayer, 18-5. 18-4 as well for Cam Weiss, so they're both killing it where they normally do. Homer, he's great. Jost, good. Miller's good. Aho's great. Goddard's good. Zanetti, Albrecht, they're all good. Point only with 1-3 so far, so not terrible, but could be better. Niederberger could be better, 1-3. Stahlberg, nothing to 3 so far, but nothing really too major. Well, I mean, there's been majors in terms of fights. Stahlberg with 2 fights already. And then Miller, Aho, and Weiss. So we already have 5 fights on the season, and we're only 9 games in. This is a gritty team, man. This is a gritty team. So, yeah, that's really about it. It's mostly just Klimi, and I guess we're just getting unlucky, because there's not a whole ton of explanation as to why there's 6 overtime games in 1 month, especially in October. So, I think we just got unlucky. I seriously think we just got unlucky there. But I do have to end it off here. I've been commentating a lot today, so I'm going to end it off here. Let me know what you guys think of the team so far, and I'll see you guys in the next one when we continue year number 11.